you. Wow. There's nothing like a good cup of coffee, and it's made right here at 580. Let's learn about the organization. Welcome to ETN Community Spotlight, where we shine the light on a local nonprofit organization. I'm Derrick Silas. Join me as we talk to today's special guest. 580 Coffeehouse, Sarah.
Yes.
Tell us about the organization. How did it all get started?
About 8 years ago, my husband and I were visiting some of his family here in Enid, and we decided to kind of go out and about in the community to see kind of what Enid was all about. And we ran across Cherokee Apartments, and we decided to do an outreach that following Saturday in that apartment complex. And that event really just changed our life. We went out there and determined that there were so many needs that were needing to be met. And so about 5 years ago, we thought, you know what, a community coffee shop would be such an asset to our community of bringing everyone together and then being able to really support people who can't support themselves.
Here's your coffee. And would you like to have the opportunity to pay it forward? Here at 580, we actually have a really neat program where you can put change, loose dollar bills, ones, fives, sometimes people even put 50s. This pays for somebody in need. People can come in and receive hearts like these, and they go on our Live Sufficiently, Give Extravagantly board. And what this does, this allows somebody who needs a drink, a pastry, even a lunch to come in and have a meal or a hot drink on a frozen day like we have in our winters. But it's a great, great chance to give back to your community. And 580 here, we are so proud to be able to do this for people.
So we decided to do a coffee shop. I've always loved coffee. I think I've always had a coffee shop a part of my life. Whether I was a teenager or an adult, it's always a meeting place. And I hope that people in our community kind of see 580 as just that, a place to come together and support one another. And we love seeing everybody every day. So I hopefully they love seeing us every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the mission and the purpose of this.
Yeah. The purpose of 580 is, like I said, to bring our community together to support one another, but more specifically to support people who cannot support themselves, people who need shelter, who need clothes, kids that need jackets this time of year in the fall and winter, kids that need shoes to start school. I mean, there are so many needs in our community, and we wanted to be able to bring the community alongside, shoulder to shoulder, to meet those needs. And so that's the purpose of 580, is to serve people who need our love and that need to know that they are worthy, and that we are going to come behind them and support them and give them what they need.
Okay. So what's your role in the organization?
So my husband would be the director. I am the sidekick. I run 580. I run Copper Tap Roasting Company, our roasting company, but I just kind of tag along.
Now tell me the collaboration. You mentioned Copper Tap
Yes.
Roasting Company.
Yes, yes.
Tell me how this all goes together, because you make the coffee right here,
Yeah,
right? So tell me about that all.
That's a great question. So Copper Tap is where we roast all of our coffee fresh to taste as we are drinking. Well, you're drinking chai, but no, we don't have to tell anybody.
So it goes into the hopper. I preheat the machine to whatever my desired temperature would be. Every bean's different, every batch's size is different, requires different temperatures. So once I reach my desired temperature, I'll let it coast there for a few minutes just to make sure that that's actually where it's at. And then we use a software program to kind of track the whole process of the roast. And there's several phases of that. And so basically what I'll do is when I get my temperature, I'm going to drop it into the drum. And that is what is called basically the soak. And so what that means is I literally don't give it very much gas to begin with, and I'll stretch that out to about 60 seconds. And so once we get there, that's what we call a turn. And at that point, the software program is tracking the rate of the bean temperatures rising. So it goes from room temperature to my desired end results around 406 to 408 degrees Fahrenheit. And so throughout that process, after it turns, we go into what's called the drying phase. It's drying the whole time, but that's what we call the drying phase. And typically that's between 4.5 to 5 minutes. And then after we get through the drying phase, we'll come into what's called first crack. And it actually sounds like popcorn popping. And at that point, it's when it's kind of entering the development stage. And I want my first crack, depending on bean, to be anywhere from 20 to 23% of the total roast. And so everything that we roast here is what some would call a city roast. And that is we drop it after it gets out of first crack. Once you take it beyond that, the darker you go, you're kind of burning the bean and you're losing a lot of the single origin cup notes that we're after. So like the Brazil's milk chocolate and fruit, an Ethiopia that we have right now is green tea, cherry, the El Salvador's chocolate, plum, and strawberries, the Guatemalans, brown sugar, citrus, milk chocolate, and so they all have different cup notes. And so the roasting process, what I'm trying to do is bring those out as much as I can.
We supply coffee to other coffee shops, other bagel shops, other restaurants, and like 580, it is another way of being able to support the homeless shelter that we have and the community garden that we have. You know, we love fundraising and we love the community coming together, but we wanted to determine other ways of being able to support some of the bigger reasons why we are here in Enid, and Copper Tap and 580 have really played a big role in that.
Okay. Now, you told me earlier that this is all under the umbrella of Forgotten Ministries.
Yeah.
How does that all work
Yeah.
with the 580 Copper? How does that all work?
So it's Forgotten Ministries. It's kind of the umbrella of everything we do. And so we have the shop, we have here at 580, we have Copper Tap, we have a homeless shelter, we have transitional housing for men that are getting out of prison and need, you know, the opportunity to be in a community that they can make wiser choices, and then we have a garden, and then we're in the process of building some tiny homes. And so it's all, the purpose of all of them is all to spread the gospel, to get in people's lives that we wouldn't ordinarily be in, and being intentional about it. But yeah, we have a lot of different ways that we try to get there, and it makes it really, really fun. And it gives people an opportunity to, if you may not be passionate about coffee, but you're really, really passionate about community gardening. And so it gives the community some options of ways to get involved.
Okay. Are there any annual fundraising events that 580 supports?
Yeah, so
we
actually have one coming up this fall, and actually later this fall, and its purpose is to celebrate what the ministry and the community has been able to provide to our community, but it's a way to catch everybody up on where we're going, and how we plan on getting there.
So the organization is a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
So how is the mother organization funded?
A lot of private donors, churches, businesses, individuals who just have a passion for helping people. It's phenomenal. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I can't believe I said Los Angeles instead of LA. That shows you I've been in Oklahoma too long. I'm from Los Angeles. I'm from LA, and it's amazing how much I have fallen in love with Enid, Oklahoma, because of the generosity of the people that we live in community with. It is a very, very generous town, and because of the generosity of Enid, we have been able to grow at a really rapid and phenomenal pace.
Okay. Since 580 has been in business, what impact do you feel like this has had on the Enid community?
Oh my gosh. 580 has brought the richest man and the poorest man in the same room, eating the same food, drinking the same cup of coffee. It has brought every walk of life into an environment that where there's no one better, there's no one more important. And I would say that that's probably one of the most impactful ways 580 has been on my life. But it also gives the community a way to support the homeless without maybe being on the front lines. And I think that has been really, really important, is to having people involved in different capacities. And buying a cup of coffee happens to be one of those ways, which is really cool.
Now, perhaps a person would like to volunteer.
Yeah.
Or
that's a great question.
Contribute. How could they go about volunteering?
Volunteering is the lifeblood. So 580 has a handful of employees, and everybody else is a volunteer. We have a couple of websites that you can go on to volunteer at the shelter. There's certain jobs, there's certain times. It's a very family-friendly environment, but we would love to have more people partner with us, because that's what gives us strength in this ministry.
Is there an age limit on the volunteers? Like,
if kids are going to come alone, we ask that they're at least 16. If they're going to be just come by themselves, or they can come with their youth groups as long as there's a leader with them. But families are more than welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if a person wants to contribute to the
Yes.
organization,
Yes.
is there a way they can do that online,
Yes,
by
there
mail,
is.
or how do you do that?
Yes, so donations can be sent directly to our ministry center. They can be sent here to 580, but they can also be done online through PayPal. So many ways that they can give, for sure. What we would love to do more of is working with or partnering with more restaurants, coffee shops, bagel shops, donut shops. If any place that you can think of that serves coffee, we would love to be their provider. It just gives us another way of including more of our community in the greater good of serving those less unfortunate. We have about 100 right now that we are serving at the shelter, which is really, really incredible for a town of our size. And it's not that they have traveled from out of town to find us. That number has always been here, but it's just been a little bit more hidden. And so the need is extensive, and so our partnerships are very, very important to us, so that we can meet all those needs.
So what gave you guys this passion for this type of ministry? Where did that come from?
Whew, I might get a little emotional. Jesus did. When my husband and I decided to start doing ministry, we did it on the streets of Skid Row. And we had a homeless ministry on Skid Row in downtown Los Angeles. And that's where we started doing this together. And it was an incredible training ground for Enid, Oklahoma. It's a very extreme problem there. It's been an extreme problem for about 50 plus years. And when we came to Enid, Oklahoma 8 years ago, and we saw the same addictions and brokenness and prostitution and all of those things that we were seeing on a much grander level on Skid Row, when we saw that in Enid, Oklahoma, we knew we had to do something about it. My husband is originally from Oklahoma, and so visiting Oklahoma and being a visitor in your own hometown, coming back and seeing that, was really, really hard for him, and we knew we had to do something about it. And we knew that the reason why we started on Skid Row was for Enid, Oklahoma, I'm positive. And we knew that we had something that we could give them, and so we just haven't stopped doing it. We want others to be involved in that, because there's more joy in giving than anything else.